Hey there, it's been a minute since I've made some videos, so let's catch you up and talk about discectomy recovery. So I had my surgery in February, the very beginning of February, and it is now the very beginning of September, so I'll let you do the math on that. I have had to go back to physical therapy because my core muscles were not activating properly, so other muscles were compensating, and it led to sort of an overload where like the muscles just sort of locked up and freaked out. So specifically my glute muscles were freaking out, my piriformis was freaking out, and my core muscles were not activating properly. So after doing some searching on this, I actually found out that this is not that uncommon to have a set of muscles that are not activating as they ought to, and you need to retrain them. So that's what I've been working on, and I've worked on that for the last couple months actually. I went into physical therapy, was there for a month, got discharged from that, and I feel a lot better. And what I find right now is that if I don't go to the gym for 2 days, that third day I will feel crap and I will have to go back to the gym. So I have been going to the gym on a consistent basis, usually like every weekday and one of the weekends, usually, unless I have something personal going on. In that case, I know how long I have, how much borrowed time of pain, relatively pain-free and movement stuff I have. To describe what it feels like on that third day of not doing anything, how it hurts is I'll find that it's a lot more difficult to put on pants. I think that also has to do with the core muscles not just going back to being lazy and not turning on or whatever, and so my lower back ends up feeling it. But it'll hurt to put on pants, and so I'll have to let the pants dangle instead of like bending my trunk or lifting my leg, and just everyday things, just like sitting down, standing up, the usual. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Basically, it's every single normal movement is some kind of painful, even if it's not agonizing. It adds up to kind of giving you, at least you can end up in a crappy mood. So I don't really like that, and I'm really stoked about being able to go to the gym and actually have that help directly, because for years I have not been able to do pain management based off of movement. I've re-injured myself in a number of ways, and it's just nice to be able to finally be like, yes, I know how to handle this, I know how to manage this. And it's not even a matter, I should back up, because it's not even a matter of know-how. So if you're watching this, you might be in pain and you might be dealing with bullshit, and there's a lot of blame that goes along with that. Sometimes we moralize our injuries, and it's like, oh, what did I do to get this way? How did I mess up? And you know what? Sometimes life just takes a big shit on you. And some days you wake up and you feel like shit, and you can't figure out why. And that's just honestly, it sucks, but that's just honestly how it is. So, like, I'm not at all trying to imply that I could have done this stuff before, it was just a matter of knowledge. No, I tried to go back to the gym. I tried to do exercises, and I kept re-injuring because my body was not at the stage that it needed to be, where that engagement was appropriate. So, like, I had to go through a long period of time where I didn't do anything to before my back freaked out, like, directly. Like, I didn't have this thing diagnosed properly for a long time, so I actually had knee problems that just came out of nowhere. And for a long time, I could not walk normally. I couldn't walk without assistance. And by assistance, I mean like KT tape. I couldn't walk without KT tape for over a year, and it sucked. I was using crutches and a cane at one point, and like, if I tried to, you can't yoga your way out of that. You can't stretch your way out of that. Like, at least, like, I mean, I re-injured myself so many times, I probably added a solid year to my recovery. And I actually had somebody ask me about that when I talked about it. Like, what can I do? How many steps do I have to take in a day in order to get the knee pain to go away? And I'm like, if your condition is like my condition, you need to actively not do a damn thing. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that different things are appropriate at different times in one's recovery, and all of them are valid, especially if they're helping you feel better. And especially if you have inflammation, you need to calm the fuck down. And I know it's hard because you're in pain and you want to make it stop. And if you're like me, you like to have control, and that sense of control like really manifests in doing exercises and stuff. But like, at least in my case, it ultimately was a detrimental thing. Finally, I'm at the point where it's not. So I have the tools I need to pay attention to my physical state and what I need and when I'm doing things too hard. So, for instance, I used to exercise as a coping mechanism for trauma. And I know this is like personal, but whatever. I'm already talking about personal shit. Like, I had PTSD from a violent childhood, and so some people turn to alcohol, some people turn to drugs. I turned to exercise, and it was the perfect place to hide because no one was going to be like, "Oh, you're exercising too much. You know, you better watch that. We're going to have an intervention." Like, no one was going to do that because exercise be good all the time, every time, right? Well, I was going overboard, and I was dissociating, and I was exercising beyond a reasonable level where I was actually doing harm to my body, but I didn't care, and I didn't respect it. Anyway, how did I get down that rabbit hole? I feel like there was a point I was gonna make, but I lost it. But yeah, it's I think well, as long as I brought it up, I'll tell you what I'm doing now, because I'm going back to the gym, and I'm re-engaging in physical exercise. I'm doing it 5 or 6 times a week. But what I'm doing to try and mitigate those old patterns, those old maladaptive, go harder, break your body kind of patterns, which still exist inside me psychologically, I also often listen to meditation tapes while I run, which is kind of funny because they're like, take a deep breath and sit in a neutral posture, and I'm just like, it's not obviously not the intended position for one to be in, but it helps to mitigate my my previous tendencies. So it's like, anyway, when after having issues or an injury, you might need to, or I shouldn't say you might, you almost certainly will need to approach the way you used to do things from a fresh perspective. And you bet your ass I never listened to meditation while doing workouts. But I tell you, it's really interesting because I ran a mile the other day on an arc trainer because it's low impact, and it was the easiest mile I ever ran. I didn't even know it until I just opened my eyes. I was cheating in the middle of of a meditation session. I'm like, what? I already did a mile? Sweet. Go back to the happy place. So, anyway, there's a whole other number of ways that I'm approaching like my fitness that is very different from the past because I need to write a better future so I don't repeat past mistakes. And even if you don't have psychological issues such as I have had, there are probably ways that you need to move that are different than you used to move, and you might need to give up some things. But there are always other things to try. There's always other things to engage yourself in. You just have to look for them. You just have to, hunger for them, and you have to go for them. So, yeah, anyway, if that's where you're at, good luck. If you're stuck and you're not able to move, I'm so sorry. It sucks. Take care of yourself. It's going to be hard. It was hard. Anyway. And if you're about to get surgery or wondering about surgery recovery, it's fine. It's a steady climb up. I still wear my back brace when I'm in the car because car seats are the fucking devil. Who the hell designed those things? They're the most painful things to sit in. I don't need a back brace in any other context. It's just that, pointing to the car. Just what? Anyway, so you just figure it out. You just see what works and push that envelope, and there are going to be setbacks, and you might need to go back to physical therapy like me, but that's fine. It's as long as you're taking care of yourself. I'd much rather go back to PT and get help than to wait and make it get worse. So, yeah, anyway. See, that felt nice. Don't want to make this video too long. Anyway, feel free to dump a comment or just, hit a like or whatever. Whatever. All 2 of you. I appreciate you, all 2 of you. You're beautiful.